All right, we're going to put some more perspectives on something. All right, this time it's drug dealers versus drug users. What do I mean by drug dealers versus drug users? You should pretty much know what I'm talking about by what you see day in and day out. Who's being arrested day in and day out when it comes to drugs? The users. Are the dealers being taken down? No. Is the supply of the drugs being stopped? No. All right, and here's one reason why. There's more revenue that can be collected through users than stopping the dealers. You stop the flow of the illegal drugs to the users, that cuts down on the revenue that could be collected through the state and local law enforcement. Whereas if you go after the dealers, guess what? That stops that flow of revenue cold in its tracks. And you can't say it won't. Yeah, people will find new ways to get their little high and stuff like that, but then go after that source also. Don't go after the users. I'm 55 years old, and I have till yet to hear of any poppy field that a dealer is growing in the U.S. I don't know of any dealers in the U.S. that's making fentanyl. So what do? You go after the dealers to cut down on the supply that's going out to the users. You don't go after the users. They need help. They don't need a conviction and their money taken away from them. The dealers need their money taken away from them. And that's why you don't see local law enforcement going after dealers. They'll come up and tell you all kind of nonsense just to deify their actions. They'll say, well, you don't know how dangerous it is in those environments right there. Well, if you can't stop it at the source, don't be messing with the users. And why would they go after the dealers? That's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry going after the users. So why would they stop the dealers from supplying the users? You stop the source of it. You arrest a user, they usually have to pay a fine, which is revenue. If they're convicted, they have to pay more money, which is more revenue. Then when they get out of their jail sentence or prison sentence, then they have to go through some kind of rehabilitation, which is state sponsored, which is more revenue. You see where I'm coming from? These drugs that are going out to these dealers are supplied by state officials, by their inactions to stop it at the source. A lot of these drugs come across the southern border. Do you see anybody stopping it? Nope. The drug dealers won the war on drugs. You can't say they didn't. Because do you hear any police officer, when they arrest a user, interrogating the user of where they got their drugs from? A user, you can interrogate the hell out of them and eventually they'll pop. Eventually they'll speak up because they're weak. But you don't see cops doing that. You don't see them interrogating users that hard. And that's because they don't want to stop the flow. And let me ask y'all something. Do y'all know of any drug dealer out here that's making pain pills, Vicodins, hydrocodones? Do y'all know of any drug dealers out here making them? Who makes them? Big Pharma. Do you know of any drug dealers out here that are making their own Xanny bars? Making their own benzodiazepines? Nerve pills? No. Big Pharma makes them. Big Pharma supplies these drugs in large numbers to their patients. It's not to help the patients, because these doctors and these pharmacists, they know that prolonged use of these drugs causes future health consequences, which then again benefits the health industry, which then again benefits the big pharma. There isn't a person I know of that needs 5 or 6 pain pills a day. If you need more than 5 or 6 pain pills a day, you need to be in the hospital, solving the issue that's causing you the pain. I don't know of anybody around here that needs nerve pills 5 and 6 times a day. If you need that many nerve pills a day, you've got a problem. You need to go see a psychiatrist, and don't be going to seeing a pharmacist. Prolonged use of those drugs causes future health concerns, which benefits the health industry and the big pharma. Why do police officers not go after those major drug dealers? Like, just the same reason they don't go after the damn street drug dealers, because it cuts down on the revenue that they collect from the users. Am I talking about small drugs such as marijuana and mushrooms? I haven't heard of anybody that's ever died from doing just marijuana alone. Just marijuana alone. I've heard people die from marijuana due to the police officers, shooting them and busting into their house just for a little bag of weed and stuff like that. But I've never heard of anybody smoking a joint. That's all they do is smoke weed, and then they die from it. I've never heard of that. And if anybody's ever heard of that, please point some up. Please post some up. And I'll look into it, and I guarantee you there's some other drug involved. Either alcohol, or prescription drugs, or some other illicit drug. That's something you never hear on the mainstream media when they come up and talk about, marijuana is bad for your health and all this stuff. Look at this man right here. He was arrested for marijuana. But when you dig deeper into it, the person has always got some other kind of drug involved. Same kind of drug that is known to cause problems. Alcohol, known to cause aggressiveness, known to cause violence, known to destroy families, known to make people stupid whenever they get drunk on it. But no, we ain't going to put a stop to that. We're going to put a stop to somebody that's smoking a joint that's sitting in their house not bothering nobody. Oh my goodness. But are y'all catching on to where I'm coming from with this? There isn't a poppy field grown in America. Poppy fields are grown in other countries. And guess who's protecting those poppy fields? Our very military. While saying at the same time, we're in a war on drugs. We got to stop the heroin use. But what do? They stop the users. They don't really stop the users. They just delay the users for future revenue again. If the system really wanted to stop opium usage in the country, they wouldn't be over there protecting the opium fields. That's speaking out of both ends of your ass. We want to stop opium usage, but yet we're over here protecting the opium field that creates the drugs that we're trying to stop. That's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So, we need to stop the drug usage. Have a good day. The drug dealing.